I'm scared that I'll never own a house because this is ridiculous. All the prices are crazy. Like, no one's hiring. The job market is terrible. I'm scared that I'm going to live with my parents forever, honestly. And the gas prices, it's so rare to see it above $4. And now that it is, it's just kind of, I feel like I'm being shot financially. It's just crappy. It sucks.
Do you think President Trump is too old to be president?
I think so.
Well, Iowa farmers are going through it. Not just Iowa farmers, but check this one out.
The reality he and thousands of other Iowa farmers are facing is nowhere near as bright.
Farmers are under a lot of stress. A lot of farmers are reporting to us that in some cases they're on the brink of a crisis.
As president, I fought for the American farmer like no one has ever fought before. Nobody's, like I'm up here today, I don't need this, I got elected, I don't have, what the hell do I have to be here for? I got elected.
It's crazy what's going on. They're ruining our country, and it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing.
So we asked, how does that make you feel about the man you voted for twice?
It brings out a side of him that, like I say, I haven't decided what I'm going to do this year.
About whether you'd vote for him again.
Right.
What do you think the people who worked for you, who've just left for the season, would think about those comments?
They would be offended by that.
Gary and Dave Nelson say they will likely hire migrant workers in the future under the same government program. We also showed them the Trump video.
I don't think it was appropriate. My ancestors came at one time, and maybe the same thing was thought about them, but they turned out to be great contributors to our country.
Do you find it offensive, though, to use that term, destroying the blood of our country?
Yeah, that's harsh words. It's not proper.
How do rural voters feel about the president? Yeah, you know, Iowa has been traditionally a field of dreams for the president of the United States, but it's quickly turning into potentially a field of nightmares. There seems to be a rural revolt going on in this country against Donald Trump. Take a look here. Rural voters on Trump. Look, according to Fox News, he was easily winning them back in October of 2024 versus Kamala Harris. 18 points ahead. The exit poll even had it a bigger margin. But look at where he is now. Woo! Down there, underwater, underneath the cornfields, he's now 14 points underwater. That's an over 30-point switcheroo against the President of the United States. As I said, there appears to be a rural vote going against Donald Trump.
Holy smokes, guys. Iowa seems to be spitting out the Trump Kool-Aid and turning away from MAGA. I almost thought we'd lost them forever.
What brought you here today?
My boss is here, so I'd come to see him.
Who's your boss?
President Trump.
He's your boss?
Pretty much. He's all of our bosses.
In what way? That he tells you what to do?
He don't tell me what to do. He runs the country in a good way that nobody else can. So I consider him my boss because basically they run this country like a business.
Does it bother you that he ran a lot of his businesses into bankruptcy, though?
No, it don't bother me at all. No, it don't bother me at all. I don't care if he...
But if he runs the country like a business, he could like bankrupt it.
I don't care if he was smoking crack with Hunter. I don't care. I'm going to vote for him. I don't care what happens. I'm voting for him.
Even if he was smoking crack with Hunter Biden?
Hell yes, I would.
Yeah, Iowa is full of conservatives. Well, it's actually a good mix of both.
I think it's going pretty well.
I'm giving it 0 stars. Overall, very impressed.
So far, I'm pretty pleased.
I am a female, so it has not gone well for me at all. My rights are dwindling quickly. I'm still surprised by how divisive people are, and that one really sucks.
I honestly believe he's doing what he said he would do. I respect that. He is trying to get rid of those tariffs and the drug traffic and sex traffic people. They're the people that we need to get rid of.
I mean, he's done nothing but just try to get rid of people who are from here. As far as I'm concerned, he hasn't done a single thing right.
For the most part, I think the tariffs was just a game that Trump wanted to play and had a bunch of countries that have come to the table to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't think there's very much middle ground. I think you either really like it, you really enjoy what he's doing, or you really hate it. So it's very divided.
Now look, I gotta be honest. I have a soft spot for Iowa. Got some of my folks living out there. Just regular people who wake up early, work their hands raw, and don't complain about it. And I've spent enough holidays at their kitchen tables to tell you, these people are not what the rest of America thinks about them. Iowa has long been a purple state, but many conservatives in Iowa aren't exactly what you'd term as MAGA. I mean, they want a better America, sure, just without the cult leader culture wars, if that makes sense. And you're about to see what I mean by that. Because here's the thing about Iowans. They're not the loud, performative, aggressive type of conservative who needs everyone to see how MAGA they are. They keep their politics closer to the chest. They're not out there trying to provoke people or make a scene. They're the type to notice you haven't been to church in a few weeks and show up with a casserole because your mom just died. And they don't even say anything about it. They just set it on your porch, knock twice, and leave. Now, I'm not saying you won't find any MAGA cult members in Iowa. You definitely will.
So what is that?
That's best president of the United States.
All right, that's Donald Trump with his mugshot, right? It says never surrender.
Never surrender.
Okay, that is a picture of him surrendering to Georgia authorities, though, right?
Sure. He's the best president of America.
Okay, but that literally is a picture of him surrendering, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You got a mix of people out there.
Who did you vote for and why?
I voted for Trump.
I voted for Harris.
I voted for Donald Trump.
I voted for Trump. I like his policy he's trying to do. He didn't have any wars when he was president, and that's pretty much it.
Do you think Iowa's going to go Democratic or do you think it's going to go Republican?
I think it's going to go Democratic. I'm just wishful thinking, but I hope it does.
Recent polls show that it's actually going to go blue.
I think it's going to go red. I think there's a good chance it could go Democratic, though.
Farmers who can talk soil chemistry like chem professors. Small-town teachers who coach 2 sports and drive a 20-year-old minivan. Young guys who hunt whitetail in November and vote like their granddaddies taught them. Folks who will mind their own business for years, but the second your cow gets loose, suddenly half the county is out there chasing it down a dirt road in the dark. That's Iowa. Annoying in the best way. And their schools? Come on. Iowa's 4th and 8th graders consistently score above the national average in reading. The National Assessment of Educational Progress, that's the gold standard. Not some think tank with an agenda, backs that up. They've got an early literacy implementation law that actually holds people accountable. And Iowa State University? Top 1% in the world. Top 1%. So when Iowa, battleground Iowa, mind your own business Iowa, smart Iowa, went red for Trump not once but twice, I was shocked. And I don't shock easy. How did these people fall for the guy with the spray tan, the 6 bankruptcies, and the complete inability to load a dishwasher? How did the most sensible people I know drink the Kool-Aid? Well, let me tell you a story. And I need you to actually lean in, because this is where it all connects. But before we get into that story in just a second, I need you to watch the following clip, because it has a lot to do with what we're going to discuss.
Hey. So I was reading something kind of disturbing this morning from Davenport, Iowa. This is in Axios. Evangelical pastors heavily for Donald Trump are a huge reason Monday night's Iowa caucuses have become a race for second place after the former president. They say obviously they embrace Trump because of the Supreme Court justices who helped overturn Roe v. Wade. But then they say MAGA pastors who in speeches and podcasts cast Democrats as demonic, promote Christian nationalism, and tout Trump as chosen by God to save Christianity. One pastor, who's a 27-year-old Iowan, says you cannot be Christian and vote for a Democrat. What the heck? What do you think of this? Tell me.
Now, a few years back in the hills of West Virginia, there was a pastor named Mac Wolford. Mac was 3rd-generation Pentecostal, raised in a little wooden church where the music was loud and the faith was literal. And I mean literal. When Mac read the Bible, specifically Mark chapter 16, verse 18, he didn't see poetry, he didn't see metaphor, he saw instructions. They shall take up serpents. So he did. Every Sunday, Mac Wolford would reach into a box, just a wooden box, nothing fancy, and pull out a timber rattlesnake, live, fangs and all. He'd wrap it around his bare hands, hold it toward heaven, pass it to his son, and the congregation would shout glory. Now, here's what you need to understand about Mac. He wasn't stupid. He wasn't crazy in the way you think. He could quote scripture for hours. He raised a family. He loved his wife. He was the kind of man who'd help you fix your truck and refuse payment. He was good people. But he believed something, and that belief felt good. Because when you're a snake-handling pastor in a forgotten corner of Appalachia, you don't get respect from the world. The world laughs at you, calls you a hillbilly, flies over you on the way to New York or LA. So when you pick up that rattler and you don't die, you're not just a preacher anymore. You're chosen. You're special. The normal rules of physics and poison and death, they don't apply to you. That's the Kool-Aid right there. It doesn't taste like poison. It tastes like being seen. Mac had been bitten before, survived every time, which only proved to him that God had his back. Every scar was a trophy. Every close call was a testimony. So on his 44th birthday, I am not making this up, Mac Wolford sat down at an outdoor church service next to his own yellow timber rattlesnake. The snake bit him on the thigh, and Mac refused medical help. He refused, because if you really believe God will protect you from poison, then a hospital isn't a backup plan. It's a betrayal. It's admitting you never had faith in the first place. His wife begged him to get in the car. His son watched. The paramedics showed up and he said, "No thank you, the Lord will heal me." The Lord did not heal him. Mac Wolford died on his living room floor hours later, 44 years old. A good man, a hard-working man, a man who drank the Kool-Aid because someone convinced him that the rules didn't apply. Now, I'm not telling you this to laugh at a dead pastor. I'm telling you this because I want you to see the mechanism, the gears. Here's how it works. A smooth voice tells you that everyone else is lying. The media lies. The scientists lie. Only we have the truth. And if you just believe hard enough, if you just have enough faith, you'll be immune. You'll be safe. You won't get hurt like all those suckers out there. That's the Kool-Aid recipe. It's been the same for 100 years. Different cups, same poison. Now replace the snake with a red hat. Donald Trump showed up in Iowa with a Bible in one hand and a grievance in the other. And he said the one thing that a lot of good, hard-working, overlooked Iowans had been dying to hear. They laugh at you. The elites hate you. The media is the enemy of the people. But me? I'm your weapon. I'm your voice. I'll take the bullet so you don't have to. And the part that did the trick, the culture wars especially, programming people to believe that gay and transgender people are trying to force their lifestyles on others. I mean, think about it. Why should you care if your neighbor is gay or trans? Is that more important than feeding your family?
Why are you forcing your lifestyle over on me?
Who's forcing you to be gay?
Joe Biden and his crew.
Joe Biden's forcing you to be gay?
No, not forcing me. Make sure you get that right. I ain't gay and ain't got nothing to do with it, okay? Don't ask me.
No, but I thought you're saying he's forcing you. He's forcing you to be gay, or he's forcing you to be... What's he forcing?
The whole party is forcing their lifestyle over onto us. Period.
Nobody's forcing you to be gay. It's just so people can live the life how they want to live without persecution.
They are putting in schools, in our education for our children, okay, that it's okay to be that way, and it's not. It's ungodly. Period.
But you're saying like...
Period. There's no answer. There's no more question to that. Period.
Because in Leviticus...
It's ungodly, friend.
Okay. So in the Bible, in Leviticus, it says, if a man lives with a man, he should be put to death.
Also... You be careful, okay?
Also in Leviticus...
We're going to go to eternity, and we're going to answer for all this right here.
I look forward to it.
Right.
Also in Leviticus, it says, if you spill your seed, you need to give 2 turtle doves to a pastor, a priest. Spill your seed meaning ejaculate. Have you given turtle doves to priests or pastors like it says in the Bible?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Do you think gay marriage should be illegal?
So I believe, according to Scripture, that God made man and woman and made them for each other. And so I do believe that it is wrong to have a man with a man and a woman with a woman.
Would you be upset if liberals got together and tried to outlaw marriage between a man and a woman?
Well, yes, I would be upset.
Should gay marriage be legal in this country?
No.
And why do you feel that way?
Well, the Bible tells us that marriage is between a man and a woman.
So it's because of the language of the Bible?
That is correct.
And the Bible says that if a man lays with a man the way that he lays with a woman, surely, he should be put to death, those sorts of things?
Yes.
Have you ever worn mixed fabrics, like a cotton with a wool or a linen? Okay. That's also in Leviticus in the Bible, right?
Yes, it is.
So how do you pick which rules from the Bible that you follow and which ones that you don't?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and it takes a lot of time to fill out.
Is that more important than gas in your car or affording a house? Those gay and trans people aren't going anywhere now that Trump is president, but the soybean market is gone. Farmers are losing farms. Pride Month? It's still there. And all Trump has to say is,
I don't need this. I got elected. I don't have. What the hell do I have to be here for?
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation.
What'd you make of that?
Yeah, that's bull crap.
he doesn't care. This is what Iowans and many other rural MAGA voters are realizing after drinking that toxic Kool-Aid.
Rising farm foreclosures in Iowa just aren't about land. They could shape the future of farming communities. Data from the American Farm Bureau Federation shows farm bankruptcies are increasing across the Midwest. In Iowa, filings jumped by 11 cases from 2024 to 2025. Another look at the data shows just how sharp that increase is, up 220%, with 18 farm bankruptcies in Iowa in 2025. Farm leaders say it's happening because farmers are facing a tough economy. That pressure is making it harder for families to plan for the future.
I voted for Donald Trump both times. Harvest season is now over. Corey Farrer says during the heart of the season, he needed about 90 workers.
Are there enough Americans to take those jobs? There are not.
So Corey had 72 migrants working on his farm this year, legally, under the government H-2A program. He thinks the government needs to make it easier for more migrants to come to the U.S. to work. He hadn't seen and heard what former President Donald Trump declared about undocumented migrants coming across the border. So we showed it to him.
It's crazy what's going on. They're ruining our country. And it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing.
There are so many bigger issues in our country than what trans people do with their bodies. It's not something that the general public needs to worry about.
How do you kind of feel about Trump saying there were only two genders during his inauguration yesterday?
Having a president who feels so strongly about these issues, he can make so much change in such a quick amount of time that takes so much longer to reverse. It's becoming a big worry to do anything politically active now, right? Because I fear if I end up for some reason in prison, I'm going to be in danger. And as someone who's recently been starting HRT, now I'm thinking, okay, how long am I going to have access to that medical care that I need?
Because Trump doesn't care about trans people existing. That was just a talking point for him to get elected. He used your emotions, your beliefs, your fears. And I'm talking to the conservatives here. And now that he's in office, he simply doesn't care. He only cared about getting elected, being in office to do his thing, which is make himself richer, make his friends and people funding him richer, and find loopholes to avoid any investigations done on him.
It seems very self-serving. I have a list of shit printed I could go through, but what was the last one? He made it so he had Todd Blanche do the dirty work so that him or anybody in his family could never be audited by the IRS. What the fuck is that shit?
Mm-hmm.
The drone company, the $400 million jet from Qatar.
Yep.
The Executives Club. You know about that?
Yeah, that they started in DC.
You don't hear about any of this shit.
Yeah.
Does this shit look like he's serving the fucking people? No. So you're going to serve that? Or are you going to speak out against it and let everybody know what the fuck is happening?
You think he'd be better off?
Fox News sure as fuck isn't reporting any of this shit.
None of it. No, there's no question that the corruption in the administration has been far beyond what
he sued the fucking government. He sued his own fucking government.
The president sued himself. He sued the IRS, but essentially he was suing himself
And then he settled with himself for $1.7 billion to be deposited into a slush fund that the president can use at his discretion to reward his political supporters. We found out just hours ago that in that settlement is included a provision that stops the IRS from auditing the president or his family. So instead of ending the Iran war, instead of trying to do something about these spiraling prices and costs that are being borne by families and the federal government, the president has spent the last few weeks reaching his hand into the Treasury, stealing from the American people $1.7 billion to be put into a slush fund that he controls to reward his political supporters, and securing an agreement with the IRS that no matter how much fraud or illegality he and his family and his business entities engaged in, they are getting off scot-free.
Here's how President Trump settled a case with himself. In January, President Trump sued the IRS and the Treasury Department over the leak of his tax information and sought $10 billion. President Trump was asked about his lawsuit on a flight to Mar-a-Lago.
I'm supposed to work out a settlement with myself.
And the president was right, because the Treasury Secretary is, the Supreme Court has said, the alter ego of the president, someone who has to do what the president says. So the idea of suing an agency of the federal government when you are the president is quite literally suing yourself.
Now, if you're listening to this and you find it hard to believe that your beloved Trump, who is chosen by God, actually did that to you, I understand exactly what's going on in your mind.
The MAGA cult doesn't blame themselves for Trump. They blame you. There's a psychological reason for that. Psychologist Leon Festinger documented what happens when people make a choice that ends up hurting them. The brain cannot admit the mistake, so it finds someone else to blame, and that person is you. He called it dissidence-induced blame shifting. Gas prices went up, they blame Biden. Tariffs are killing small businesses, they blame the media. Their retirement accounts are collapsing, they blame the deep state. They never blame themselves or Trump. Here's why. Most normal people can admit when they're wrong about voting for a bad politician, because the politician was just a choice they made. For Trump supporters, it went further than that. Voting for Trump wasn't just a decision. It becomes who they are, their identity, everything they told their family and friends they stood for, everyone they fought with, everyone that doesn't talk to them anymore. Admitting Trump was a catastrophic mistake doesn't just mean they were wrong about one decision. It means they were wrong about themselves. Their brain will never allow that because they are weak people. So instead of looking inward, their brain looks outward for a target to blame, and that target is you. They're not angry because you're wrong. They're angry at you because you keep pointing out the damage Trump is causing. And the damage proves they did this, that it's their fault, and they cannot take accountability. And right now, everyone else is paying for their horrible decision, and they know accountability is right around the corner.
It's a lot easier to double down than to believe or even agree that you were duped. But the first step to moving toward the right direction is coming to terms with the fact that none of this was hidden and agreeing that, yeah, you drank the Kool-Aid.
I finally woke up. I've been MAGA all these years, and I fucking regret it, man.
Damn, really?
Like, for real, like I woke up, man, and it's been one lie after another, and I just wanted to hop on here and let you know that. And it's causing a lot of tension between like friends and family now that I don't support MAGA no more, and it's kind of ridiculous.
What was it that was the final straw?
I think the final straw is multiple things, but the couple main things to me was no new wars, the whole Epstein files, like how is his name mentioned so many times, and these MAGA people just like goes in one ear and out the other. I don't get it.
I'm sure you've noticed here lately that Trumplicans and MAGA are just lashing out at everybody. They are particularly pissed. They have hitched themselves to this MAGA train and just can't get off of it. And that's because of things like the sunk cost fallacy, that they've spent all of this time and energy and effort and money investing in this one person, and by proxy, all of his cronies. So when you're talking about all the things that this regime is doing to us and the negative impact that it has on us, it's the equivalent of covering their ears, right? I'm not listening. I'm not listening. That's what happens when Trumpism is integrated into your personality. Any attack on Trump is an attack on them because his philosophy is a reflection of what they think. Take, for instance, owning the libs by increasing gas prices. It also affects them. Or the war, which just by statistics, the military has a lot of conservatives. No new wars. Not to say most of these folks do not want a war. That's what they tell themselves privately. But publicly, they've got themselves hemmed in, bound up. So an attack on the regime, specifically Trump, feels like a direct attack on them because they share a philosophy, or they think they do. They are willing to justify everything as long as they don't see the truth. These people are manifesting. Do you see all of these memes about them praying for Trump? They can't accept that everything that they've been told is a complete lie. These folks have cut off family members. They've insulated themselves in these echo chambers. And that's why they're defending this shit so hard. The alternative is terrifying. That Trump or the regime doesn't actually give a shit about them. The no new wars rhetoric, they found a way to justify that. Trump's narrative. Anyway, that's the sunk cost fallacy. Let me know what you think in the comments. See you next video.
Yeah, sunk cost fallacy. And it's not just a religious thing. Nope. It's so hard, even for people who aren't deeply religious, to say, you know what, I was wrong about this. Because they've put so much of their identity on the line, so much of their ego, so much of their social standing. A perfect example, Patrick Bet David, PBD Podcast. Smart guy. I know some of you will disagree with calling him smart, but come on. The man is knowledgeable, well-read, exposed to more information in a week than most people get in a year. He's not an idiot. He sat down with Mehdi Hassan the other day, and he couldn't do it, couldn't bring himself to say, I was wrong about any of this. Even when the facts were right there, even when the contradictions were staring him in the face, he just maintained, held the line. Because admitting a mistake feels like losing everything. And this brings me back to the pastor. Mac Wolford died refusing to realize that he could, in one single moment, change his mind and go to the hospital. That's all it would have taken. Get in the car, drive 20 minutes, accept the antivenom, live. But to him, that would have been catastrophic. What would the audience think? What would his congregation say? What would his son think, watching his father suddenly decide that maybe God wasn't going to heal him after all? The shame of that. The collapse of everything he'd built. So he chose the snake, even as the venom spread through his body, even as his wife begged, even as death became certain. And here's the cruelest irony. Those specific verses in Mark, the ones about taking up serpents, scholars agree they were almost certainly not spoken by Jesus. They don't appear in the oldest manuscripts. They were added later, by someone, probably well-meaning, but added. Mac Wolford died for words that a scribe probably tacked on centuries after Christ was gone. But somewhere in his mind, he'd built up neural pathways, a belief system, an identity so tightly wound around that single interpretation that choosing life would have meant admitting his whole life was built on sand. So he died experiencing the exact opposite of what he believed. The snake wasn't supposed to harm him, but it did. And as you saw during that segment, the tradition carries on, still handling snakes. Now, I guess the question I have for Iowa, for MAGA, for America, because I know most of the time I'm singing to the choir, how much better would our lives be if we could simply call things as they are? If we could look a leader in the face, regardless of their party, and say, hey, you're wrong on this one. If we could be honest with ourselves, actually call out the dissonance, the gap between reality and what we'd like to be true, between the evidence and the belief we've wrapped our whole identity around. What if we could admit, quietly and without shame, that we were sold a bill of goods, that the snake bit us, that the guy with the Bible and the grievance never actually intended to save us? What if that kind of character, that kind of heart, is what could actually make this nation great? Not the flags, not the slogans, not the cult of personality, not the culture wars. How about we start owning property and not owning the libs, or any of that rhetoric? Just people, being honest, changing their minds when the evidence says to, choosing life over ego and pride. Mac Wolford didn't get to do that. He died on a living room floor, surrounded by people who loved him, because he couldn't break the spell. But Iowa? Iowa is waking up. They're spitting out the Kool-Aid, slowly, messily. Not all of them, but enough. And that's not nothing. That's the glimmer. I don't know about you, but I miss the days when politics felt boring, not like this clown show circus we have nowadays. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are down below, and if you like my work and thought-provoking commentary, which I promise you won't find in many places online, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Let's wake more people up. Catch you next time.